Hi guys, we are back. We had a little snafu like I told you was going to happen, and we are back. I think this is all a fun thing to do. Just hope this is going to work. So I did do a little spiel at the beginning about telling you how great it was to be here at Larry's Coffee. We have Cal Nord with us. We have a reader from Boston, which I'll be doing the reading. That's Andy Orem. We also have C. Graves, and our final poet is going to be Endless Will, and we'll look forward to this. We're going to start probably about 3 o'clock. It's getting close to that. Like I said, we are here down at 5 Points, and if you'd like to come down and visit us, we would love to have you. If not, just go ahead and continue to watch us on this live feed if something doesn't happen, like all the things. I don't know if there's anybody going to be around to look and monitor any of this stuff, so if you have any questions, make sure that you write them down and message us later. Just wanted to remind you, Larry's Coffee is hosting us. We used to have our things on Larry's Coffee, but now we are on Facebook. So go ahead and like our Facebook page. That's our public page where we do announcements and stuff. We need that when we have to do advertising. Also go ahead and join our Facebook group also. And that way you can post your poems. And those that have posted poems are usually ones that we pick for our featured readers. Once again, this is Debbie Johnson. We are going to get started probably about 3 o'clock. I'm going to let you look at an empty microphone, if that is okay with you. And we will get started. There's the mic. This is the Facebook feed. So they'll hear us talking.
So which one do I use?
Are you good for standing? There's a
I don't think I do it right. That's the thing.
Yeah. Pull that over and I'll have the option.
yeah, when I get up there, I'll do that for you. That's fine.
Yeah, so like what I do too is like I'll simmer the spices, strain it, and then keep it like on the heat but not like on, and then I'll steep the tea, and then I'll, is that what you do? At the end.
You gotta do it.
Really? Okay.
So like I put everything in and cook it till it's like
How do you prevent it from turning bitter?
Good. What?
That's my sister's bucket.
Yeah, it's nice. Nice little place.
Yeah, I use
Yeah.
yeah.
I was here once before and it was outdoors and there was a larger layout and more
Yeah, not the
people.
little, yeah.
like you want
And I don't know what the difference is.
Right.
You know, that,
Yeah, no,
just like yo.
I suspect it was publicized. I think it was publicized differently that time.
So per cup.
Yeah, I don't know. Don't listen to me. I don't know anything, so.
per cup of milk and water?
Yeah, so you can take a mug.
Yes.
So like 60% dump that in, 40% water, dump that in. Like
Said
two,
nest required for your chicken.
Oh, are they required? I've got one.
Yeah. I have one too. But like that's less than
Did you wear masks? Did you wear masks?
go like 2% water.
Like you told me half and half, and then you said
Roughly.
40, and now I'm like, I know. It's not. I know, it depends on the ingredients.
say
Thursday,
something
I will
before
know
I read?
writing.
Oh, you're going to introduce me?
I'll let you know when, yeah. And,
This is my friend
he's
Chloe.
gonna introduce you, and then I'm gonna, read this. So I think we're starting, right?
Stop.
Sit down. There's Cookie. That's it. I'll have to get you that. I'll try
Hello, I can't use technology. You foolish shepherd, wherefore do you follow her like foggy south, puffing with wind and rain? You are 1,000 times a properer man than she a woman. 'Tis fools like you that makes the world full of ill-favored children. When I was a boy, I was terrified by so many things. Strangers, cigarettes, new foods I hadn't eaten. I slept with a nightlight long after I should have stopped believing in boogeymen. I was afraid of heights, knives, and casual conversations, but I cannot remember a time I had stage fright. I sprang to life, had the chance to be in front of the class. The theater was my first love before I ever called performance art. My first production, I was Stanley Lawson, a serial arsonist on the run, 10 years old, a natural. When the lights hit the stage, the set suddenly became a spring day, and I, awoken from my hibernation beneath the mud, spread out my stubby limbs, and believed that I could fly. But oh, how I hated when those lights died. Those plumes, those empty rooms, those curtains drawn to entomb the actors into acts, ashes to ashes, dust to dust, cyclical mortification of we, the mayflies, born to live and die in the span of 3 acts, or until the end of the span of your attention. It's a dangerous life, living for the praise of the populace. I asked a magician, "Are you happy?" He looked at me with bloodshot eyes, unconditioned honesty. He confessed uncertainty, constantly trying to invent new tricks of the trade, hoping to keep the audience entertained for just one more night, because there will always be another show in town. But if this crowd dries up, my calling desiccates. I saw it in his withered walk and wondered whether we are performers or vampires, feeding upon our victims turned captors. It's captivating. The way that the stage has never scared me. Like the flies who are never scared of the sweet aroma of pitcher plants, ready to dissolve their tender dreams of flight. I should fear the stage. The cups of ambrosia, doled out by affirmation and appraisal, taste like destiny. At least until the dissolution and trembling I face the great uncertainty that lies between the last performance and the next. The stage is my garden and my grave, littered with the carapaces of countless insects who swarmed about, spewing sweet songs to romance their species on their quest to soar above fleeting mortality. And as they died, they cried, "Pay attention to me!" So, stick around. Let me shout my silly little poems about everything that terrifies me, crystallize the chrysalis upon this lily pad, this makeshift stage where the lights undo my atrophy, spread out so all the pretty girls can see my wings, and I can be fearless enough to fly, at least until the show passes by, for I am afraid I am only a mayfly, born to live momentarily. But if you applaud loud enough, then perhaps I will not be so afraid to die. Hello, everyone. My name is Colin Watson. Most of my friends just call me Watson, mostly to confuse you. I am your host for this evening. Welcome to Freshly Brewed Poetry. If you have never been to a poetry event, you are in for a wonderful treat. You get to hear people say poems, sort of like mine, probably better than me. That's okay. I'm not insecure about that in any way. We have some incredible poets lined up who are specifically performing some pieces tonight, and then we have a special featured poet at the end of today, but there's also an open mic, which is really where I love to live, because open mics are just, you get to hear the raw stuff. You get to hear the unrefined, just, I'm going to put this out there, and I love that. So if you've never been to a poetry show, some ground rules that you should know. When the artist is up here on the mic, just be respectful. There's other places you can have conversations. There are other places that you can be like, FaceTiming with your best friend. But while someone's on the stage performing, I just ask that you give them your attention as they're going to give you theirs. And just, make sure the cell phones are turned on to vibrate and all that. I don't know how often I've actually had mine off of vibrate, but, I know not everyone is wired like me. There are bathrooms back there behind you. Behind the bookcase, it's not like a secret passage behind the bookcase. You just go around the bookcases and they'll open up. One day. There's also fantastic coffee from here at Larry's Coffee. I encourage you to make donations and buy some coffee, like some coffee beans if you are a coffee connoisseur. There's some refrigerated stuff if you want something cooler, and there's also a coffee bar over there. And I believe that is all free. I'm going to suggest donations because that's, you want to support your local scene. But beyond that, there's a sign-up sheet back there. Tonight, we're just going to go random. I'm just going to choose at random who's going to go next. So if you maybe have to go first, like if you need to leave early, you need to just wave me down after I'm off stage and be like, hey, can you pull me in early? Or if you have terrible stage fright, be like, I want to go absolute last. I can't promise that. But, I can also be accommodating. It's we're a small family here, so we can do that. There is a bunch of cool stuff. There's a Facebook page attached to Freshly Brewed Poetry that you can go and check out. There's a specific Facebook group that is private that has a bunch of incredible poets posting there. And Debbie will actually be talking to us about that next. So I'll hand it over to Debbie. Everyone, please give a hand.
I'm so comfortable on this tall microphone. All right, I know how to do it.
Sorry.
Oh.
I got it. All right, so, here we are with Larry. And I've got all this paraphernalia out there that we don't need. So, I am so excited to see everybody here. We are at Freshly Brewed Poems. We got ourselves a live audience out there. And also, like I said, my name is Debbie Johnson. I am the co-founder of Freshly Brewed Poems. I'll give you some of my paraphernalia. We have Art's back in the back. He's one of our administrators. Watson is administrator. Dan Decker, who's normally here, is not here. He's a Shakespeare scholar. If you need anybody that knows everything about Shakespeare, he's also screenwriter. He has published a book called Anatomy of a Screenplay. So that being out of the way, we were talking about, we used to have, I'll tell you a little bit about Freshly Brewed. We used to have the poems posted on Larry's website, but we have since migrated over to Facebook. Gives us a little bit more opportunity to interact with each other and that type of thing. So we're going to try and keep the formula that we had there where everybody that posts, we will pick three poets. We're going to pick a poet a month, and then we'll invite that poet to be one of the featured readers. So we do these quarterly, so that means, three poets get to be featured reader at the beginning. And then we have somebody, a main person that we draw from the, the general community and stuff like that. Somebody that's got like a little bit of a following. Telling all the secrets. So the Facebook page is the announcement page. It's there because we need that for our events. But we also have a private group. And that's a good place because it's private so that you can post and feel comfortable and get some nurturing, things from people and readers like that. So, let's see what else I have to say. So please make sure you like the page. I've also figured out QR codes. So I have all these QR codes here. My lovely granddaughter.
Cool.
Reaching for the lovely QR code. So make sure you go ahead and use that QR code. So now we're going to go to introduce our first featured poet. And Cal is a personal friend of mine. Cal is right here. He's joining us. He has been very instrumental in the community of poetry as groups before COVID and that type of thing. And I just am very pleased to have him because every time I would go to a poetry thing, I would be sliding in after work or something like that. He would always find me. So I'm very grateful for that, and I wanted to give him an opportunity as well to that. So tell a little bit about Cal. Let's go ahead and, Cal, if you want to make your way up here, I know it might be a little difficult. While I'm doing that, I'll tell you a little bit about it. He is a 1972 cum laude graduate from Yale. His senior thesis was a book of his own poetry. And that's a good way to do it. And he's also was 3 years Ivy League in discus. He had a career in the trade show transportation. There we go. And as you notice, he has become physically disabled. And when that happened in 2007, that's when he started back with his poetry and stuff like that. Okay. So you want to sit there? That's good stuff.
I might as well.
Okay, that's good. That's good. He's near that. Yeah, it's my favorite scene in Pretty Woman. So anyway, when he became physically disabled, he started writing again. And there was one poem called Physics. That poem was a finalist in the North Carolina State Poetry Contest, along with a couple of other poems that he's written. And he's gotten many. There's actually too many to list all the awards that he's gotten. So just to say that I was just honored to have Cal here. So people.
My athletic pursuits didn't really result in my disability. But I guess all of them combined did. I might as well read this. It was the first, when I decided it was time to stop work and get back into poetry, which I'd always planned to do. It was the first thing I wrote. I was working at a convenience store, and my back was bothering me really badly, but I could still work then. And a napkin fell on the floor, and I had to get up because that was my job. And it was still frustrated by gravity, things falling down. But I'm okay with entropy now. And I'm okay with the arrow of time. If the arrow suddenly switched and it all headed crunchward, galaxies, the universe, etc., and the shattered glass really did jump back from the floor up on the counter whole, I'd be perplexed, liking the one change, but maybe not the other. Can't have everything your way. So, I figured if I could just write all my poems, as simple as that, I could win awards like crazy. But I think I'm going to kind of go in the order that I put them in the book. And the next one is a poem about my father, something I wanted to do for a long time. And it took me a long time to finally get to it, and then I did. And this is called Newark Riots, 1967. My father was a policeman, a park policeman, right in the middle of the riots back in '67. My long-gone daddy was a big, strong cop on the streets of Newark, where he grew up. 6'9", 300 pounds. He was dispatched to the riots, where his Negro football buddies fired bullets that breezed by his head like bees. I can still see him. He's stunned, sad, ignores the flak, drags victims to sidewalk shelter, sees them as his old teammates themselves. Why are they shooting at me? This is going to change his life. He went from hair-triggered to silent. My father wanted to crawl into a hole, too young to retire. Later on, alerted by screams, he becomes a giant icebreaker, rescues a tiny black girl from a frozen pond, almost freezing to death, but no one cares. The sergeant just ordered them back to the barracks to change clothes. The girl and her family celebrate, I'm sure. No thank yous. 2 years later, he slipped on an icy patch and hurt his foot chasing a crook. Achilles heel. He was wild with glee when the authorities determined his injury was bad enough to retire on. So he did. And sat, thinking he beat the system. Doing nothing, waiting for death in his recliner. Watching TV, looking at pictures and magazines he couldn't read. Sitting in his chair with National Geographic, scared to die alone. Better to slip under the ice, quietly, silently preserved. Your last yell immortalized in the park by a wooden sign, naming the pond after you. But who would read it? The little children throw lines in for catfish. Their mothers grab the dirty fish, clean them, fry them up in oil, and serve them with greens, and hush puppies in a home they'll soon have to leave. Some years, this is called slaughter at Chosin Reservoir. Some years past his funeral, Lieutenant Kempton's wife, Mary, my mother-in-law, lies at Wake Med Hospital dying, but holding on with all the strength she showed her whole life, not lasting Billy Kempton and his second husband, another West Pointer, Colonel. I met a sergeant who owed his life to Billy and the men of Lieutenant Kempton's platoon. I followed him off Route 55 to a parking lot and chased him down after I saw his special license plate. Joe, Master Sergeant Major, had been in charge of putting drivers into the company's trucks to get out of the deep reservoir along with troopers on foot. First big battle of the Korean War. Each driver he put in a truck lasted about a minute before being shot. Joe'd have to find a new suicide soldier. Most Americans died as captives that day, but those in Billy and Joe's company were saved, a lot of them. While Billy's platoon held off Mount's battle-hardened regulars against our neophytes. For many, as for their lieutenant, their first time in battle, fighting uphill in dark, outnumbered 20 to 1, 20 below zero, they stopped the Red Chinese one precious hour. Most Americans had chosen massacred, stuffed into vehicles set on fire. Red Chinese not taking prisoners that day. When Billy's daughters found out about him, that's how they thought he had died. He having been known as the bravest cadet at West Point. When the Army found his body in North Korea after being MIA, presumed dead for 55 years, there was some comfort knowing the whole story of his death, which Joe had known all along. But Billy's order to attack saved the whole company. They wandered days before finding help, losing toes, frostbite, of the few Americans who made it out. That's why Joe's license plate says Chosin. So, let's see. One more, right? Okay, one more. Okay, how about this? Oh, yeah, this is a good one. I'm supposed to do 3, so this fourth one is short. That was good.
We added the
No, it's there. Sorry about Okay, this is called stop time, which in jazz is when a chord is played only on the first beat. To freeze time, a sculpture in a courtyard, a flower pressed in a book, a butterfly flattened behind glass. Why can't we see things without stopping them? Like particles we can't throw light on without changing by a photon's reflection. Do we make them physical when we stop addressing them as points in a flow, missing certain coordinates folded in dimensions? We press things flat to understand. The smallest bits allowed in our philosophy or science. We call them probabilities, not even a thing we can hold. Words of ink on a page, old photos,
medal for me for my poetry things, and it's just an honor to have them come today. Whatever they
It's my pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you
I'd
so
love
much.
to do it.
Yes, he's got this new book out. Might not have mentioned
Oh,
that.
yeah, I
yet,
forgot
but
to mention it.
I'll do that for you.
Oh, thank you.
Called, could do a little housekeeping there. It's called,
Mystical Pictures.
Mystical Pictures. I practiced that a couple of times.
Yeah.
Mystical Fictions. And there's some awesome poems in here about portrait of people that I've actually really enjoyed. So
I
it's
know. I meant to
awesome.
read one of them, but
I love that one.
can't read them all.
I wrote a poem inspiration for one of those.
Oh,
So, so our next poet is not here. If you notice, it's me.
oh,
I'm not the poet, but I am the reader. So, bear with me on this, because this is reading somebody else's poetry, which is an honor. It's Andy Orm. Andy I met through Heron Clan. He is a poet that's in Boston. He is a writer, an editor in the computer fields. His editorial projects have ranged from a legal guide covering intellectual property to a graphic novel about teenage hackers. Well, that's one to read. So print publications have appeared in many, many different journals and stuff like that, and his poetry has been published in genre, urban arts, Main Street, Steam tickets. There's, once again, Heron Clan, which I'll promote too because and I did bring some of these along, so I do have to sell or trade if anybody wants that. If anybody has books to sell, please let us know, because we are more than willing to let you sell your books here, please. Like I said, he lives in Boston, and he has so for the last 50 years, and because of the distance, not because of his age, no. I'll be reading his poems, and like I said, you can find his poems. I put up at the front a little postcard or bookmark. Go ahead and grab one of those. It's got his email on that. That's where his poems you can find. It's also that key article that I was talking about so much, and I'm so proud of. It's on the back. It's on the back of that too. So his first poem is the poem that he put onto the Facebook page, and it's one of the ones we chose from that. It's called Waiting Out the Rain. For the price of a coffee, I sit, watch the rain paint aurora across the view from the windows, privileged to be dry, privileged to have a few unappointed minutes. No power on my mobile device, no book, no newspaper except the local advertising rag. Silence in the mall, sparse vehicles in the lot, placid visitors, elderly strollers. Few people today apparently need jolts of new acquisitions in hand, fogs over concrete with anticipation, not sure which way to float. Dusty sparrows playing places on high fixtures or surveillance camera while planning their return to nature. With me, sullen visitors run hand over polysiding. Nothing to look at, just cars pressing down the luminescent pavement. Resin tabletops, acrylic notices of salt-sodden specials. Why doesn't everyone have to get somewhere? What a place to find respite from exigence, from scheduling, from harassment. The barista stares across the linoleum through the glass door. The espresso machine begs for employment. Somewhere, someone's clock digitally advances without noise to the next minute. Finally tied it into coffee.
yeah.
And this next poem is in the Heron Clan one. This one is it's called Roster. The default gender is male. The default language is English. The default city for poetic edge is New York. The default shirt size is large. The default home heating is natural gas. The default gun caliber is .22. The default mode of death among young black men is homicide. The default asylum status is denied. The default lines, fissure, cape, and gulf, but we do not admit our defaults. We do not atone. Too bad there's no default God. And this next one, this last one that he's picked for us to be read, it's called Urban Portrait. And urban portrait, I think he's talking about the street is the portrait. So this is a great one. It talks about the chaos of the streets and stuff like that, and how it all comes down to time. So urban portrait. Through the street past blinking souls flash makeup with laugh. Incredible hair cascading. Hey, I'm twisting. High joint over bench. Sparks, sweatshirts wave. Tile clacking. Towers channel. Moped lurchers run. Thunk, clank. Cross curb. Coffee unlidded. Plenty of viewers for a spectacle. Student flirter eyes gelling. One alone and medicant of bent intentions mumble. Chasing time. Always in time. Crackle traffic. Pursuing turnstile across plaza. For people, sparrow companions, all petty new food, old food, Creole, Spanish, Russian, English. Shadows cut sidewalks, lit lamps, nicotine ashes throbbing. Hooks break pressed down by passers. Multitude new fairgoers hit the blocks. Footwear changes. Speech even more impelled eyes sidecast, chasing time. Crowd threads towards a music hall maggot. Loud accusations. Ephemeral altercations, abandoning corners, listening, isolated assignations. Final phoners stood up by partners, coffee, clean, placards left, flying breeze, brushing, wisp of melody, walking stick, tapping, always in time. That's an awesome one. So privileged to read that. So I'm going to turn it over to Watson for our next featured reader.
Alright, y'all. So, this next poet is a friend of mine. The first time I met him, I was told he was my little brother. It was because, you know, he was younger than me. Yeah, that's it. Anyways, he is a man I want to be when I grow up. He has released a album, and then an EP, and then a single. His EP most recently was Love Songs for Single People. Love Poems for Single People, my apologies. He then promptly got a girlfriend. Just gotta keep him guessing.
We write poetry.
Yeah. It was an album so good he got a girlfriend. I should clarify. That is what happened. I just love hanging out with him. I go and hang out with him on Saturdays sometimes, and we go and sit and have coffee. And he's just a whole experience. And I want to be like him when I grow up. And I am just, man, I just love you, man.
Aww.
Hi, everyone, please give it up for J.C. Grace.
Well, so, I don't know. I was initially going to scream a poem about drug addiction to y'all, but that doesn't seem like the vibe anymore. So we're going to do an audible. Is it cool if I sit down? It seems like I sit down for about 10 minutes.
It's all there for you. Whatever you do.
Normally I walk around with the microphone because I get antsy. I don't know, I feel very comfortable right now. Y'all feeling good?
Yeah.
Awesome. So, like I said, throwing an audible, I sent this poem to Antino and Watson like weeks ago, and I made some adjustments to it. By show of hands, who in here is like a coffee house regular? Like, you show up and people know your order. So, for those people, even though no hands were raised, it's a very, I'm a barista, it's a very interesting experience being able to understand like how much, they don't understand how much they mean to us when they come in, because it could be fresh after a rush, I could just really not want to make another Frappuccino right now, and I know he's not ordering one, and it's great. But this poem is dedicated to all the coffee house regulars out there. I think they're amazing people. It's actually called Regular. And I'm going to read it. I have a regular at my Starbucks who talks to me about God sometimes. He once told me I looked like I kept my nose in my Bible, and I didn't have the heart to tell him I maybe read a page. Because revelations run rampant around my mind on the days I remember, the days I'm trying to forget. However, this man comes in every Sunday and answers, I woke up this morning, so I'm doing great. To the go-to customer service questions about days we don't typically care about. Only for him, I care a bit more. And while he and I may not see eye to eye, I can feel that he cares about me. And maybe that's the faith he's found in the religion he chose, and maybe he'd be proud that the faith I've found came conversations about topics I don't typically like to discuss. Maybe this is what faith feels like. Because while I may not know that this man is coming in on Sunday, I believe I'll get to see him. And while I may not believe that the man above has blessed me in the unbelievable ways this man has been blessed, I would love to hear about it. Because this man once asked me, can you believe there are people who don't? And I couldn't. So maybe this lifelong battle with religion I've been bare-hand boxing has only felt hard because no one ever approached me with it like this. However, there are Sundays where I don't get to hear about the service, or how the Holy Ghost has been holding his hand through tribulations so that the triumphs come with a safety net. And this is how the doubt begins. For without my regular reminding me that no morning is guaranteed, so cherish the ones where your eyes get graced with a glimpse of a sunrise. How would I remember that mortality is not merely a notion? And knowing myself, the second something seems harder to find than I thought it would be, I crumble. My hands holding each other, praying that the next week I get my dose of the Holy Ghost, but it's not that I'm suddenly a believer. Quite the contrary. For I have no idea what the afterlife is supposed to look like. I'm not sure if the road of gold is paved or painted, or if the city in the clouds is really all that it sounds, but I believe in people. And while the shred of human decency I expect on my Sundays may not be a religion, it provides me with the spiritual experience I need to know that I've got to keep going. And while sometimes it feels hard, and the safety blanket fashion my fingers wove themselves into while I was praying to my regular may not keep me any warmer than an embrace from whatever God I land on, I've got to keep fighting. And I won't pretend to know the answers even when I think I've found them, because that's what this man did for me. He explained the passion he felt to an open-minded enough time in my life that the pearly gates guarding what I believed possible finally got a lock. Now I just have to search for a key. Thank you. That piece, it's a true story. There's this guy who comes in every Sunday, and he is the most positive person I have ever met, especially for it being 6:30 in the morning. That is, I want to fight people at that time. But I have one more piece. It's not a longer one, but I write longer because who needs to delete things? This piece, it started, I was in a class, go Pirates, by the way. I was in a class that I definitely should have been paying attention in, but I wasn't. And I thought of this idea of Sky Pirates. I thought that the idea of Sky Pirates was just such a sick idea that I couldn't get out of my head. And then it brought to me this idea of the fact that, like, on, like, a team or, like, in, like, a club, the idea of communal suffrage is an interesting way to see people get brought together. So this next piece is a piece called Nimbus. There's a crew of pirates sailing clouds like the seven seas, searching for stars shot from opposing boats that didn't quite make their way out of the atmosphere. They plan on mining them for dreams, losing theirs in the long voyages spanning from horizon to shining horizon, but it is a lonely sense of optimism that keeps them warm at night. They call their boat Nimbus, named after the clouds they anchor to in the name of repairs, using old parts for new purposes and scrapping rotted wood for kindling, setting the fires of adventure in the hearts of the crew who were always told the sky is the limit, but rarely believed it. Destination is a layman's term for anywhere that isn't home. However, home is an abstract idea for those who have never felt welcome anywhere. These men are not your typical pirates. Spirits of sparrows trapped in beards black like their hearts have been described as by people who have never met them because their hands are rough like sandpaper. And they shake in the wake of confrontation. These men are scared. However, they'd rather be frightened of a goal than threatened by the mundane. And dream chasing seems far more tangible than whatever their life was before stepping on this boat. Storming out of his quarters, shaking floorboards with ferocity rivaling hurricanes and krakens, the captain, born from the seven seas, with scurvy sheathing his teeth like the sword strap at his sides, and his limbs carved from every boat he had previously been plundered on. He wasn't exactly the most successful pirate, But he built his crew from the infrastructure of his mistakes, so they trusted every word he said. Possessing conviction stronger than the flimsy 2x4s from home goods stores these men have entrusted their lives in. However, he is not responsible. His men are hunters disguised as pirates, predation playing point for poorly placed pleasures, but what else is there to do when the rest of your life has led up to moments you have fallen short of? And when dreams were supposed to be coming true, nightmares had a funny way of occurring more often. These men are pirates because no other word ever wrapped its arms around them and embraced every ounce of their being. These men are pirates because swashbuckling feels better than pen pushing, and an ocean breeze entices more joy than an AC unit. These men are pirates because what else would they be? Thank you. Thank you. Oh, I did not mean to pick that.
You have to leave it there.
Well,
Whatever you need to do to make
everybody,
yourself comfortable.
go ahead and give another round of applause for all the incredible folks tonight. So now we get a real treat in bringing in a bunch of you, the viewing audience at home. Tonight we have a good old sign-up list. If you want to still sign up, you can come and bother me at some point, and I will get you on the list if you want to get on it. Like I mentioned earlier, we are not doing this in order, mostly to make you uncomfortable. And I'm definitely going to call you just so you know because you signed up. I saw your name and I went, I know, yeah. Yep. No, you did. You're good. I was like, oh man, another Seagraves here. That's wild. You have talents, just not spoken word. Like Jake stole all that from everyone else. So, first up, because I like the number 3. Oh, by the way, I should give some rules about the open mic, shouldn't I? Well, you have, is it 7 minutes or?
Just one.
Oh, okay, just one poem, thank you. So you can do one poem. So you're not coming up here and giving an essay. And please, be considerate of the other poets. So if the one poem you have in mind is 10 minutes long, maybe consider another poem today. The first poet up tonight, Catherine. I'm not going to try to pronounce your last name because I would do a crime. I'm so sorry. All right, Catherine.
Write my name down.
And
Oh, okay, yeah.
sit or stand, whatever you want.
This is perfect.
All right.
Okay, I'm Catherine Deslau. That's my last name. I was going to write it down phonetically, but I don't know how to spell phonetically. And I don't think I'll even learn. Catherine Deslau. Alright. Can you all hear me? Great. It's from Ben. You came back like an addiction. I stayed high on you for days, holed up in my dark room, damp with lust. Every tool I had slathered, pressed up against me, awkward orgasms, fantasies.
dowager of narcissistic love. Here in the summer, the women who don't have young are left alone. I see them. The dowager beaver putters fiercely, downs logs on the lake, drags them God knows where, graces us only at dusk. The dowager deer tenderly plucks at low-hanging leaves with her flat teeth. The dowager of narcissistic love mows her lawn in a sports bra, roller skates early in the morning, hoards her favorite, weirdly rare ice cream, tosses spotted garden slugs into her compost bin, keeps her dishes very clean, and hunts for bingeable TV.
Thank you. Give it up again for Catherine. All right. Next up, because I will like the number 5. Elaine. Yes, Elaine Bauman. Everyone, please give it up for Elaine.
You know the only word in the English language that has that A-U combination? But now, it's trauma. That's sad. Yeah, so it's always woman or whatever. So, anyway, how do you like my booty? Okay, this is I do not dance the haka. Instead, I watch. Contracted belly, arms wide, fingers flutter open, then clench to hold what cannot be contained. Thwarted love. How, like an angry child, he stomps his feet. How dare you, universe? I do not dance Maori haka. I watch him, this young man in white shirt and tie, move, punch, and quiet until his voice launches an agonized call to his lost friend. Low, rumbling bass swoops to roar, echoes through the underpass, begins a beat that summons other voices, staccato, rhythmic sound. His left foot stops, his hands a-tremble, grab my heart over all these miles. His grimace and bulging eyes bring tears to mine, and in my sorrow I want to join him. But I do not dance the Maori haka. I cry for Alyssa as he treads New Zealand ground, and the others stomp and call in gut-wrenching community to honor life gone too soon. I reap my thanks, but I do not dance the Maori haka.
Thank you so much for sharing. One more time for Elaine. All right. By the way, if you hadn't noticed, sometimes when people are up here performing, we like to do this thing called snapping. Now, the reason that we snap is because we hear something that the poem is saying. It's like, oh, that's good. Now, you can also, like, there are other sounds that people have made, but snapping has just sort of become very common. So we're just going to real quick practice snapping. So everyone take out your hand. If you have 2, you can take out the other one as well. I'm just going to snap real quick. All right, fantastic. Want to make sure those were on. Forgot to turn those on earlier. Next up, Brian Hayes. Everyone, please give it up for Brian Hayes.
Long time since I stood up in front of a group of people. Nighthawks, 8/15/2021. Stub out my cigarette, sip my coffee, grown cold as the ninth circle of hell. Rain streaks the window, rhinestones in the passing headlights of yellow cab dinosaurs. Dying in this hipster's age of Lutheran lift. The waitress moves slow, suave in blue pale smock, white apron spattered with coffee and tonight's blue paid undiscovered Jackson Pollock, eggs, and a peach pie was the price. Want a top off? She leans over my table, glass carafe in her left hand, brew so brown it's almost black. 30s, 60s, can't tell, aged by life, but her hair falls lank from all the steam, and grease billowing from the grill. White smoke at a paper conclave. Her eyes, that 1,000-yard stare, seen them too many places. Yadrang, Quezon, Hue, and a dozen more off into the green horizon. She pours an inch, turns, and I glimpse from the cuff of her sleeve the boots and the barrel of a soldier's cross inked on her right arm. Where'd you serve? Not expecting a reply. Turning, surprised, her eyes start to keen. Hellman, '06 with the 10. Herat, 2012, the 101st. Where did you serve? I say, AP, 67 to 75, Republic of Vietnam. Oh, this ain't your first rodeo. I light another cigarette. Something to do. As I see friends, never getting that homecoming hug, never holding their babies, laughing over coffee on Sunday morning with their wives over something in the funny papers, or the Memorial Day barbecues. Not much got said, but we all wanted to be there. Now, so many flowers and gardens of stone. God and country, that timeless lie, where the old men and the rich men send the young men and the poor men to fight and die. I take a long drag before saying, I still hear the gasp of Joe, that Marine, beside me in my first firefight. What was your MOS? She replies back, 09 Lima, Pashto and Dari. I spent my last tour on an FBP. Damn, girl, I don't envy you. Empires are messy seagulls. Fly in from out of town, eat up all the food, shit all over, and then fly home. Saigon, April 75, I say. Never enough choppers. Mothers sending their infants off to a country they themselves most likely won't live to see. She shakes her head. You're right about empires. They're also blind, bumbling fools. Thinks their power lets them make mountains move like Muhammad. But my real hatred is saved for the generals, who play chess like pigeons. Then they leave us, get promoted, politicians in camo, decorated with stars. I look at my watch, 3:15. When do you get off? I'm off at 0600, but I won't get no sleep.
Thank you so much, Brian. One more time for Brian. Next up, Granville.
This one I'm going to do for you is called knowledge. I have loved knowledge all of my life. I followed her, quoted her, wooed her, loved her from a distance, up close and personal. Ever the focus of my gaze, I loved or cherished none more. And this morning, as I awakened, opened my eyes, and there she lay beside me, my lover, soundly asleep she lays, and I am comforted. For wisdom stands God at my doors, and acknowledges my rising. With understanding round and about, ever present the glory of God, my benefactor and strength of my life. The morning favors me, for there are no strange bedfellows here. As love is in the air, we frolic and play under the auspices of the Almighty God Himself, and there be no higher power than Him.
Thank you so much, Granville. One more time for Granville. Alright. Next up, number one, Yasmin. Everyone give it up for Yasmin.
This is called I Lay. I lay face down, burrowing into the earth with the earth for your mattress. Picture myself a small seed on fire. I want to feel stronger than held. I want to feel submerged. You oblige, blanketing me, your breath in my ear, your hands on my hands, your legs over my legs. You stamp me out. I picture myself a small flame extinguished. I've never felt more at peace, and I've never felt more loved.
Love that. One more time. Next up, a good friend of mine, Antino.
In between, sorry.
Alright, someone pass me the ball. Dear basketball, I am not 6'6", and that is okay. I don't have 5 championship rings, 18 all-star appearances, crazy footwork, millions of fans. You don't know me by name, dear basketball, but I can play you. Just give me the shot. I'll make you my world spinning on the tips of my fingers. Man, I'd have a bounce to my step. You pounding the pavement, me walking on air. As in the footsteps of my idols, who will someday call me their rivals, whose coaches will call me a problem, and whose defensive formulas won't add up to the number of ways I can pick their teams apart. Dear basketball, I'd score you from anywhere. I'd score visibility, representation. I'd score all the girls. Dear basketball, imagine this, the first sub-6 foot Asian minority in the NBA scores the MVP. I know it's a long shot, they laugh at me, but just give me a chance, I will take it. Game on the line. You won't even see me flinch in the face of my trash-talking defender. Even if you hit me between the eyes and broke my nose, I will play through the injury. With the same signature game face, jaws jutted out. Because adversity is what brings out greatness, and struggle is what proves you are still alive. I could be down by 20 for the entire game with 0 points and 0 doubts that the next shot is going to fall. You are still alive.
soaring over the outstretched hands of someone at least 6'7", and our chances of victory fading away with Father Time. And when you don't bounce my way, dear basketball, I won't blame you. Defeat reveals what you are fundamentally made of, so I will work on my fundamentals. Toes pointed ahead, knees bent, follow through. I will work on my endurance. The temptation to quit is the cue to keep going. I will work on passing. The wisdom you impart to the next generation. My 7-year-old daughter will get the best possible shot. Shot as in equitable opportunity. Shot as in vaccination from racism. Shot as in a bulletproof education. Because this country will finally get its guns and shooters under control. She will have no fear with you in her hands. And we will show them that you could still be far from 6'6" and still play you. Dribble low to the ground, move under the radar like a snake with stealth black skin hardened by battle and fangs sharpened by the iron of our will. They will call us cold-blooded in the heat of defining moments, and that's when we'll make our move, crossing over into the unknown, driving through whatever physical and emotional contact comes next. We will hit the floor, we will rise up, and we will sink our free throws on a limp. If we needed 81 points to inspire infinite possibilities, we'd spend every last breath shooting, even if it takes all 82 games of a season to do it. We could lose it all together. And I would still wake up at 4 a.m. the next day to see you in an empty gym as dawn turns the sky from purple into gold. I don't care how tall I am. We are chasing the footsteps of immortal giants, if only to write our own legends that will never die. Give me just 24 seconds to do it, and I'll spend every last one believing in miracles. I know it's a long shot, but together, we'll make it through. Long live you, your number one fan.
I also love that, man. Y'all give it up for Antino one more time. Next up, please forgive me. Is it Ina or Ina? Ina? Okay. Ina Carino. All right.
Arthur, thank you for inviting me to do this. And also, you've heard this poem many times. Please forgive me. Yeah, it's Ana Carino. My last name is Spanish. I'm a child of empire. It means darling in Spanish. Ana Darling. This poem is called Milk. Thank you for being in this country with me. A brown sister told me someone told her white people smell like milk. So I took a good long whiff of one, brought him home with me, let him sleep in my bed. He kept me safe, kept me from loaning. So I kept him from spoiling, from curdling, kept him. At night he dripped milk into me, my fingers gripping his bony limbs. My brown washed in milk, rinsed and cool, I slurped it up. Maybe he loved me, but only as white boys love guavas from a warm country. Pink soft insides, fragrant other. Maybe I loved him, but only as a brown girl loves a white thing, a so-called pure thing, makintab, a shiny lie. One day, I met his onion skin mother, his candle drip father. We talked about Asia, you know, that giant country. Onion mother said, my English was great, no accent. Candle father said I looked exotic. Are you Polynesian? They may as well have asked what it's like to wake up smelling like dung, like tarantulas, burnt rice, or flies in summer heat, smelling like monsoon mildew, mud, stink bugs circling. Instead, they asked if I'd tried dog, asked if I'd ever once burned rice. I must be so good at it, I don't need a recipe. They all laughed. So later that night, I took my white boy to my Lola's house, pulled down a jar of black vinegar, suka itim, dipped my tongue in it, kissed him. You should have seen his pale face go see-through, chalk dissolving, reverse alchemy. Now, when I talk of white people, I tell my brown sister, Baho, they stink of you, so I let mine go. She still shakes her head at me and says, Bobo, why are you so stupid? Says I was lucky to be so close to one who smells of milk. But when milk turns sour, ferments, blooms fetid under the nose, the only thing to do is pour it down the drain. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up one more time. All right. Now prepare yourselves. Debbie,
Me?
you're up.
Oh, God.
Give it up for Debbie.
Put me after that amazing poet. Oh my God, that's amazing. Everybody's been so great, and appreciate it. So appreciate everybody, and I get to do my poem too. So my dad, Father's Day is coming up, right? The last event that we had, I did a poem for my mom. So equal time to my dad, since Father's Day is coming up. He was a dentist. He was a dentist in the Army. He was in a colonel, all of that, in the Korean War. And he, Think Mash, that was where he was. And he said it was exactly the same. However, they didn't have hot lips, but everything else was pretty much the same. He was a lover, not a fighter. Carried a gun because they told him to. He said he fired it once, I think, to hunt some squirrels that were running around. He was a gentleman. Joined the Army because he had to didn't want to wear a hat in the civilian life. I know. He had to wear a hat in the military, but, I just wanted to, talk about him and tell you a little bit about him. So this is my daddy, the dentist. The daddy, the dentist said, I'll just take a look. The dangling tooth now in his hand, a screech and a run to mommy, she cried, he's done it, he's done it, he's done it again. And the time as a child of 3, dangling as she did from the maypole, swing, daddy stitched her up when her small hands failed, like a doll. He stitched me up like a doll, not speaking to him for a week. The earache at 8, daddy soothed with warm air channeled from his breath, and a tugboat horn he would sound to keep her from crying. All night he would repeat till she fell fast asleep. And the worst of it all, the red candy she sought, she found instead the vitamin bottle. Sugar-coated and tasty, the tattletale brother, the trip to the hospital, they ask you a question, then they shove water up your nose. Do you know that these are poisonous? Don't you know you could die? No, I'm only 7. Tell me what is dying. The cracked head on the nightstand, the round of murder in the dark, the fountain of blood, and the light switch when the light switch was found. The daughter of the dentist, scars, bruises, bumps, and lumps, born on a Tuesday, Grace seemed to forget. But Daddy was there, to stitch and to kiss, except for one little hole right here between the brow. Thank God for daddies.
Alrighty, so we are done with our list, unless there is someone who came in last minute who wants to perform. If not, is it alright if I do a poem for you? I wasn't originally supposed to host this, then I found out I was hosting this, and I was like, oh, I don't get a chance to test my poem, but now I do. I'm writing a book, it's called Peace, Son of War, and I now have to do this, thank you, really frustrating thing where I go and perform the pieces in front of people enough times that I hate every single poem, because it's only then that I'll know that it's good or not. So, this is, you don't need to really know the context other than it's some letters going back and forth between a boy named Peace and his dad named War. And this is a letter from Peace to War. It's called February 14th, Frankenstein's last love letter. Dear War, I nearly died today I was creeping through an icy back road halfway between Capitol and the wasteland. Suddenly my car was careening toward a melting riverbank. I could have sank. Maybe been pulled out to sea. Irony, I was listening to a song about dying alone. I find a hint of nobility in that death. I try to be more realistic than the romantics, but I end up sailing with Melville and Shelley, convinced it's an old odyssey, willfully ignorant of all the glaciers that suggest we are woefully off course. Well, I don't want to die in the suburbs without someone by my side. I keep hoping to find some indication of that ineffable feeling that has managed to elude me for all my wanting to be wanted, to be noticed, missing. It's something I hope feels like home, or at least different enough from driving alone. The albums allow me to live their story vicariously, but when they stop, I lay awake writing about the man I am becoming. I saw him as I went sliding backward toward the river. In the rear view mirror, my enemy, trapped in hazel irises. Twice in 6 months he's tried to kill me. Once was on New Year's Eve, and you wondered why I hated the holidays. Since then, I've been climbing up high mountains to tempt the tempter, then slink into the line between the sinking ship and the glacier. Close my eyes, take the leap, play chicken with the ideation. Turns out, I'm pretty good at playing this game. Quoth the poet, "You are what you love, not who loves you." For all the pantomime self-hate, when the river siren sang, I realized I didn't want to die. I love myself far too much to dare kill this cancer inside. So when my car came to a stop in the mud, I got out and started to run the other way. I have to keep going. I don't have anything to chase. I may catch up with me. So if you hear of someone falling among the glacial drifts up north, know that I did catch up. And I finally got lost. Darkness, distance. Sincerely, the next poet we bring to the stage is our featured poet for our afternoon, Endless Will, also Will Davis. I'm going to assume Endless Will is like your real name, and Will Davis is just an alter ego. He is the former Hillsborough Poet Laureate from 2016 to 2018. He serves on the Hillsborough Arts Council. He is a community leader. He promotes poetry as an expression and basketball as a tool for empowerment. He is a father. He is a husband. He is a teacher. He is a poet. And he is a coach whose relentless desire to empower the children and people he works with in his daily life drives him. So, ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Endless Will.
Hope y'all are doing right okay today. It's been a pleasure to be here and to hear some amazing poetry. I got my kids with me just chilling out. Been a good day. I'm going to read some haikus for you if you don't mind. tell you I love you without needing it back. I got one more haiku for you all, if you don't mind. You must pace yourself. Whatever it is, just breathe. You're doing just fine. You must pace yourself. Whatever it is, just breathe. You're doing just fine. So, in addition to all of the things that my good friend Watson said about myself, I am a painter as well. So, if anyone is interested, I've got some really nice paintings over there. They're only $10. Only $10. I just published my only $10. That's practically free. So I've got quite a few different variations of them if you're interested. Again, they're only $10. I don't have any copies of my new book that just came out in March. I'm sold out, fortunately. So it's a really cool thing, but I do have some art to sell if you're interested. This is my signature poem. I share this poem every place that I always share poems at. It's one of my favorite poems. I love it so much. If anybody's ever seen me share poems before, you've probably heard this poem before. If you see me share poems again, I guarantee you will hear this poem. It's kind of like my mantra, you know, something that I believe in, and I'm hoping that when my last day is here and everybody carries me to my last place of rest, that this is the poem that somebody will share at my funeral. This is something that's really important to me. So I said, is it even possible? I know it seems logical, but sometimes I think it's an impossible obstacle to actually give thanks. To show how much you really appreciate the fact that God woke you up this day. To simply say thank you honestly doesn't seem like it's enough. The magnitude of my gratitude can even be compared to the measure of the world's longitude and latitude if needed. I'd walk the distance from the earth to the moon, which has been charted at 232,088 miles to express with every breath in my chest that God has given me the reason to smile. He has given me the opportunity to be here now, so I stand proud. The simple two-word sentence of thank and you in conjunction honestly seems so redundant considering his ability to wake up everyone in the world and he still remembers me. While giving me the eyes to see and the ability to reach inside of me and bring forth these ways that he keeps giving. He just keeps giving. While I'm taking and he's giving and I'm taking, and it seems like God just wants me to say, he wants you to say, he wants us all to say, it's just, thank you. Thank you so much. So as I mentioned, my new book, Lost Poems. I really love this book a lot. It took a while to get this book together. So I am a poet and a teacher. But I also do this weird thing where I collect typewriters and I type poems for people on demand right on the spot. So I've been doing that for about 2 years now. I've had a chance to do that at DC at the Lincoln Memorial. I've had a chance to do this in Michigan. I just left Princeton University. I was a resident poet there for 4 days and had a chance to just sit there on that amazing campus and just really just give people with my work. So it's really, really close to me. I brought my typewriter here today. So if we have time after the event, I'd love to type a poem for you all. It's something that I really enjoy doing. I literally just take tips. You give me $1. You give me $100. $100 better than $1. But there's no difference in regards to the quality of poem that you're going to get. This is something I enjoy doing. So with that being said, my book, Lost Poems, is a compilation of all the poems that I wrote last year, and I may have liked them a lot, or I just taken a picture of them, or somebody might have tagged me, and I've kind of reinvented it and put them in this book. So I'm going to read some of them, and then I'm going to read 2 new poems that I just finished up. I'm super, super anxious to share with you all, if you don't mind. One's about Juneteenth, and one's about Father's Day, so I'd love to share those with you all. But somebody brought up age. It's too quiet. That was way too quiet. That's right. That was way too quiet. Somebody be rude. 17. Somebody be rude. Just blurt out some stuff.
What's our parameter?
Oh, so it goes. Good question. So it goes from 10 to 75. 17, I can't read that one. You lost. That's pretty good. New number. 32. 32. 32. I love this game too. I do this every time. So some of the poems in my first 2 books, I know what page number it's on, and I know them off the top of my head. But with poems like this, there's no reason for me to know what page number it's on. There's literally no reason for me to memorize what page it's on. So somebody gave me number 32, and gave me the word. Somebody gave me the word blessed, and I got my amazing nephew over there too, with the best dimples in the world. Show him his dimples. Best dimples in the world. He's a really cool kid too. So somebody gave me the word blessed. I said, our day is perfect once we place ourselves in position to put hands onto the path that is planned out for us. We must trust and not want, but will the things already given to us, that of which gifts God gives us, all things good, and make sure it is in abundance. Blessed. I got one more. Somebody yell out a number. 3. I can't do that one. Starts at 10. 71. Let's see. Hopefully it's not a picture. 71. Somebody gave me the word hummingbird. The most beautiful bird. Imaginary. They say if you see a hummingbird and a hummingbird sees you seeing you, that is when your thoughts and dreams become like their wings. Constant, purposeful, intentions to take you away to the most needed places, graceful in its being, dreams just being to only become the most beautiful. Imaginary. You guys are amazing, by the way. I hope somebody told you that today. I'm going to read this poem I just finished up about fathers. I really love it. I'm hoping to add this to my archive. So how my process goes, I write poems, I put them in my phone, and then if I like it, I put it in here. And if I like it enough, I put it in here. It's kind of like how my process goes. I write on my phone. If I like it, I put it in my notebook. So I don't like to read off my phone. I like to read from my notebook. I'll read off my phone in a second. Because the one that I just finished last night, I haven't had a chance to put it in here yet. Any dads in here? Any dads? Anybody had a dad? I think we've all had dads. So here we go. If you hear me, say 1, 2, 3, poetry. 1, 2, 3. Poetry. Let's get it. I said, yeah, I'm really trying to forget how to be a father. That fallacy of forever, I really don't want that. Don't call me a father. I want to take it farther. Further than those that just focused on just oversee. I see fights. Don't call me no damn father because I am a fighter. Fighting for when they can't. Forcing their mind to survive past the next round. Why be a father when I have chosen to be profound? More than those that just focused on being a dad. Glad that they can just lend a helping hand. No, that leaves way too many options. This unspoken choice to decide that loving thing of fatherly. No, I promise you that ain't me. Don't call me no father, call me forcefully. Pushing for what they need, preparing, caring, not really caring what they want because I see what they need. I know from their growth what should be shown and have given them the confidence to speak up when my lessons have been outgrown. I dare somebody to tell me that I'm pushing my kids too hard. Hard compared to what? Like I had a man tell me one day, a father tell me, a loving homeowner, nurturing, happy to be their dad, a man really look me in my eyes and tell me that they allowed their child, that unmolded, undeveloped, to tell them no. The proper approach of what to do, or any person telling them what to do, right in life, literally running at first sight of contrarian, selfish, and unsculpted, and unmolded lack thereof of soul, they let the child tell them no. Yeah, I guess to that, I am too hard. Compared to those fathers, I am pushing too hard like I tell my kids, why doubt when you can do? Why want when your walk will place you more places than the world can even describe? Yeah, I promise you that is too hard. It's too hard to hear and want to say. That subjective, the perspective of choosing to do the right thing because we've noticed that fathers can be filled with so many lies. This dad bag of suppressing child from ever being mad and only giving them, never making them do. I'm saying parenting to the point of making you uncomfortable. Teaching self-control, valuing their growth. So again, no, don't ever call me no father. Call me forgiving. Call me funny. Call me loving. Call me long-lasting. I'm asking that they call me forever, always asking and chatting and speaking as I will everybody knows about Juneteenth, right? You know about Juneteenth? Say yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't it crazy how Gatlinburg, Texas, like everybody was free, and then somebody had to tell them they were free. Like that's kind of like amazing to me that soldiers rode in, seen a community of folks being mistreated, and was like, "Hey, you guys do know you are free now." Like that sentiment is just amazing, and I just cannot help but think about that second. Like not what happened afterwards, but literally somebody walking up to somebody who was going in town where their master told them to, and somebody telling them, "You're free. Like you don't have to go back there anymore." And I just really can't even fathom that way. So I wrote a poem trying to express that. Last poem, say poetry on the count of three. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, y'all didn't hear y'all say nothing. Y'all punish me. Let's try that again. 1, 2, 3. There go that handsome voice. When hope is begged upon, and prayers are placed above you for those after you, and when you want something so bad, knowing those behind you expect it, that is something that they would never grab. How is your hope the hope enough for hope to happen? How is your asking the wanting that gain is given? No longer victim to just hoping when that hope happens. What happens next? As I was researching and learning about Juneteenth, I found a recording of old stories, a voice gifting me what they seen. I heard an old lady say, when the soldiers came to town telling us we were free, my friend and I really didn't know what to do with this new in us. The eruption in our eyes became wide. We really didn't even know. As my friend was asked by a soldier if she wanted to go with him, leave this place of broken, she said yes. She did not ask where. Clearly did not care. She just left, able to leave without vex of wonder of what will happen next. She simply just left. What happened next is we became able to imagine past, the best type of edge on your seat moment, as if your wildest dreams are not held in your palm. Grip on tight, your greatest thoughts only imagined have become reality. That's what happened. We were free. I promise you, I wish I could feel that weight, heavy like pressure, like a person pushing you to what you are able to become, weight like plans becoming outcome. I want you to imagine being told you were free. After being told you will never be free. People before you spoke every day of wanting to be free, seeing your loved ones murdered for running for free, and now you are free. Could you imagine the run home to tell others you love? After you were being told, as walking this day is not enough, the weight of making it to your destination, can you imagine the walk in the door, or the moment before you spoke words of free? Could you imagine the hope leaving life and seeing someone's first breath of free? First free step or drink or thought, or watching someone start to want to become more than the seconds before. Juneteenth is a celebration of communication, setting a standard to be needed, speaking the unchaining of our nation as it was written, but the burden still not lifted as someone had to tell us we were free. After we had already been free, when hope is begged upon, and when prayers were placed above them, they had us in mind. So we really didn't have to hope anymore. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much. Let's give it up for Endless Will one more time. So, the fantastic thing is we have the gift of time to now give you. That's a gift from me to you. But don't rush on out. This is a place with a bunch of freshly brewed coffee. I can't speak after 3 p.m. There's a bunch of freshly brewed coffee. There is a typewriter right there that you guys can get some incredible poetry from, and more importantly, I think, support an incredible artist. Also, we can just stick around and chat with one another, get to know each other like human beings. Maybe you heard a poem tonight and it really resonated with you, Or maybe you heard someone and you're like, man, I'd love to learn to write like you write poems. Or maybe you're not a poet in here and you want to find the other persons who are not poets and be like, hey, that was really weird, right? Yeah. And so we have until 5 p.m. to hang out, enjoy this space. I would invite you to not rush on out. Please stay. You make this place better by being here, and so we so appreciate you. Let's give a round of applause for everyone who has performed tonight and for all those who are staying to support us. Please feel free to check out the Facebook page. There are wonderful QR codes where you can join the groups. Yeah, shout out to the QR code machine. And the next Freshly Brewed Poetry event will be
September 17th.
September 17th. So the best place to get information about that is going to be the Facebook group. There's a one-stop shop for all the information you need. Please, everyone, have a wonderful rest of your day.
Briefly say thank you very much to, and say goodbye to our Facebook friends.